The biggest GPU crash ever is coming. Let's talk about it. Before that, this video is brought to you by RGB Swap. If you're looking for a better alternative to eBay with lower fees and better protection, make sure to check out RGB Swap linked in the description below. Alright, so recently over on videocards.com, there was an article posted talking about how, well, all video cards that have LHR now have been 100% unlocked. Now, if you don't know, LHR stands for light hash rate, and this was actually apparently Nvidia's way of trying to reduce the amount of cards that end up in miners' hands. However, it didn't really do a whole lot, and it looks like now it's actually going to do nothing, as according to this article, yep, it looks like these things have been 100% unlocked, and this means, of course, that they're going to be a lot more profitable. Now, this has sent a bunch of people into an absolute panic, and some people are starting to wonder, is this going to cause another GPU shortage? Now, honestly, guys, I actually don't believe that's going to be the case, and in this video, I'm going to go ahead and debunk that and actually talk about how I believe there's going to be the biggest GPU crash in history in the near future here. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at this article, and then I'll give you my thoughts on it. So if we take a look at their article here, we can see that there's actually a statement from NiceHash that says, quote, "We are very excited to tell you that NiceHash Quick Miner Excavator is the first mining software to fully 100% unlock LHR cards. Now you can earn more profits than any other mining software in the market if you're using LHR graphics cards with NiceHash. QuickMiner.support for NiceHash Miner is coming soon." Now this has definitely sent a lot of people into a panic, and I've been getting just message after message of people talking about like, oh, rest in peace graphics cards, we're going to be seeing another shortage, it's all over. But honestly, guys, I don't think that's going to be the case, and here's why. So yes, this is going to make these LHR graphics cards more profitable, and in some sense it could make them, you know, a little bit more palatable to go ahead and pick up for mining if there are people who are out there mining with them. However, we do have to keep in mind that the actual profits on GPU mining right now, even on non-LHR graphics cards, are really low, and honestly this is just going to make them go even lower, because all those people out there who have LHR graphics cards are now going to go ahead and actually fully unlock them. This is actually going to spike the difficulty even further, leading to even lower profits. And honestly, guys, at this point in time, I don't think it makes any sense for miners to continue to go ahead and invest large amounts of cash in buying a ton of different various graphics cards, because not only is proof of stake allegedly on the horizon, now whether or not it continues to get delayed is something we'll have to wait and see, but on top of that, like I mentioned earlier, the actual profits that we're seeing now, if you take a look at stuff like NiceHash, are actually really bad. In fact, today I saw as low as $1.38 on an RTX 3070 non-LHR that's been fully tuned, and that's before you're paying taxes. So honestly, guys, if we go ahead and we actually do the math here, if you're making $1.38 a day at $2,330 on Ethereum, that's actually only $392 a year after tax, which is 1.4 years ROI. Now that's nearly a year and a half to make ROI on a graphics card, and honestly, that's definitely not very good. However, I guess I could see some people going ahead and continuing to hold on to their graphics cards, or maybe even some people who are feeling a little crazy, a little zany, are going to go ahead and continue buying graphics cards. But I would say this is a best case scenario, because the entire Ethereum market is completely plummeting, and in fact the entire market in general, as there is a recession on the horizon, and it's starting to look like this trend could continue. So we could be looking at very low profits for GPUs in the future, even if they're not hash rate locked whatsoever. And in fact, I went ahead and actually did the math for if it was to drop to as low as $1,500 US, which honestly, guys, I don't think is completely out of the question. Now, of course, maybe Ethereum even goes up in value, but I honestly do believe that it is going to continue to drop. And if it hits $1,500 US, actually an RTX 3070 is only going to be making 87 cents a day before proof of stake, and this is before tax. So this actually comes to $248 a year after tax, which is actually 2.2 years to make ROI on an RTX 3070, and that is definitely not good. But we do also have to keep in mind that this is just assuming that the actual price of electricity doesn't continue to go up, which it likely will, and it's also assuming that the difficulty doesn't continue to go up as well. And honestly, that probably will go up as well, because, well, yeah, everybody's gonna be unlocking their graphics cards now. So it's actually gonna probably look a lot worse than that, at least in my opinion, at least if it does continue to drop in price overall when you look at Ethereum. Now, if we do actually keep in mind that we're not even talking about proof of stake now, actually after the proof of stake merge, I do believe that profits are going to drop even lower. We could be talking about half the amount of profits, or even a quarter the amount of profits. And I also did the math here. So if you're making half the amount of profits, well, now we're talking about 46 cents a day roughly at $1,500 Ethereum, which again, I don't think is out of the question, which is only $131 a year after tax, which makes it 4.2 years to make ROI. But to make things even worse, in a worst case scenario, and this might not necessarily be what happens, but it could be that you're only making 21 cents a day on an RTX 3070 if Ethereum hits $1,500 after proof of stake, which is actually, yeah, that's only about $60 a year after tax, which is 9.1 years to make ROI in an RTX 3070. Now, that is definitely a bad investment. Now, I guess technically you're making money, but again, this is just if electricity costs stay the same. So yeah, it's definitely not looking good if you're someone who's mining with graphics cards right now. I think that the future is going to be bleak for miners for sure, but it's definitely going to be bright for gamers, as I do believe there's going to be a massive oversupply of GPUs in the market. It kind of starting to look like there already is. The GPU prices are dropping day after day, and they are dropping really, really rapidly. And in fact, I think we could be talking about basically the biggest GPU crash that has ever happened in history, because if people are making less than $1 a day in the near future here mining on their graphics cards, I honestly do believe that a lot of these people are going to start to dump their graphics cards. Now, maybe some people will actually continue to just sit on their graphics cards and mine even if they're not making a lot of money, because, well, technically they're still making money, and if Ethereum goes back up in price at some point in the future, well, then they will have made a lot of money. So there are definitely going to be those people who sit there and hold on to their graphics cards in hopes that they do go ahead and actually make a lot more money in the future. But again, I do believe some people are definitely going to be selling their graphics cards, and there are so many graphics cards sitting out there mining right now, guys, more than we have probably ever seen in the history of any sort of GPU mining boom ever. And if we keep that in mind, yeah, if some of these people start to sell their graphics cards, we're going to be talking about the biggest GPU crash in history. And honestly, taking a look at how things are going, it's kind of starting to look like that's already happening. And I do believe this is only going to continue to occur, especially if a recession hits. And honestly, I do believe we are going to be seeing a recession in the near future here. So if you're someone who's waiting for a graphics card, honestly, I do believe you're going to be seeing very, very good prices in the near future here. So if you want to stay up to date on, when you should buy a graphics card, what prices are going to be good, definitely go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also enable notifications, because I'm definitely going to be keeping you guys up to date on all that stuff, as it's going to be a really exciting time for gamers, and there's going to be a lot of good options for you guys in the not too distant future. But hey, that's just what I think. Do you think that GPU prices are going to continue to plummet, or do you think this is going to actually cause a massive increase in price? Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below, and of course, I'll see you in the next video. If you made it to the end of the video, be sure to drop a like. Every time you do so, AMD and Nvidia get more stock. Also, if you want to see more, click here. You won't be disappointed.